Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're going to talk about something I think we all struggle with: how to build good habits that actually stick.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. Why is it so darn hard to change? We all know the feeling, right? You start with these huge goals, maybe a New Year's resolution, and you're full of motivation. But then, a few weeks later, that motivation just kind of fades away, and we're right back where we started. So what's the deal?
Well, here's the thing. It might not actually be your fault. Turns out, your brain is kind of wired to work against you. See, our brains just love rewards. And bad habits? They usually give us a quick, easy reward. That creates this really strong craving that makes it incredibly difficult to break those old routines and start something new.
So if making big, dramatic changes doesn't really work, what's the secret? The answer is to think small, like really small. And this is where we get to the powerful idea of the 1% rule. Now, this is where it gets really cool. This slide shows you the math, and it's kind of mind-blowing. Getting just 1% better each day, it doesn't really feel like much, does it? But over a year, those tiny improvements compound, and you end up over 37 times better. But look at the flip side. Getting 1% worse every day brings you almost down to zero. It's basically the compound interest of self-improvement. This idea was popularized by James Clear, the author of the mega bestseller Atomic Habits. And he argues that we focus way too much on our goals, like, say, winning a championship. But think about it. Winners and losers often have the exact same goals. The real difference is their system, those daily habits and routines that lead to tiny bits of progress. So here's the crucial mental shift. Instead of focusing on an outcome like, I want to read a book, you focus on your identity. You think, I am a reader. The goal isn't just to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. When your habit is part of who you are, the motivation just comes naturally. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do we actually do it? Well, Clear gives us a really simple 4-step framework that you can use to build any good habit. And here they are, the 4 laws of behavior change. You can think of them as a simple checklist for creating a good habit. And the best part? If you want to break a bad habit, you just do the opposite of each step. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. First up, make it obvious. This is all about designing your environment for success. If you want to take your vitamins every morning, don't hide them in a cabinet. Put the bottle right next to your coffee maker. If you want to drink more water, keep a water bottle on your desk all day. You want to make the cues for your habits impossible to ignore. Law number 2, make it attractive. I mean, let's be real, we're much more likely to do things that we actually find appealing. So the trick is, how can you make a difficult habit more attractive? Well, you can pair it with something you already love to do, and we're going to look at a fantastic technique for this in just a second. Law number 3 is to make it easy. This one is huge. The less friction, the less energy a habit takes, the more likely you are to actually stick with it. This is especially true on those days when you have, zero motivation. We always think we need more motivation, but maybe what we really need is to just make things easier. And finally, law number 4, make it satisfying. Our brains love immediate gratification. The problem is that most good habits have a delayed reward. So we need to find a way to make it feel good right now. This can be as simple as tracking your habit on a calendar. Just seeing that chain of X's grow is surprisingly satisfying and makes you want to keep going. Okay, so we've got the 4 laws. Now let's get into your toolbox and look at a couple of simple, practical tools you can start using today. First up is a technique called temptation bundling. This is just a brilliant way to apply that second law, make it attractive. The idea is you take an action you need to do and you bundle it with an action you want to do. The fun thing you enjoy kind of pulls you through the habit you're trying to build. So for example, let's say there's a podcast you absolutely love. You could make a rule for yourself that you're only allowed to listen to it while you're exercising. Before you know it, you'll actually start looking forward to that workout because it means you get to do something you already love. All right, another great tool for your toolbox is the 2-minute rule. This is perfect for the 3rd law, make it easy. The idea is just what it sounds like. Any new habit you start should take less than 2 minutes. So read before bed becomes read 1 page. Do yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. It makes it so easy to start that you just can't say no. Now, Atomic Habits is incredibly popular, but it's not the only book on this topic. So let's briefly look at another approach to see how these ideas compare. So while James Clear's Atomic Habits is very systematic and strategic, BJ Fogg's book Tiny Habits focuses more on emotion. Fogg's method is all about celebrating your tiny wins, like physically celebrating, to create a feeling of success. That positive feeling is what wires the habit into your brain. But here's the key. Both of them agree that the secret is to start small.
Okay, so we've covered the problem, we've talked about the powerful 1% solution, and we've got some tools to get you started. Now there's just one final question, and this one is for you.
So is this stuff the real secret to success? Or is it just, a good blog post stretched out into a whole book? Some critics say these ideas are just common sense, but millions of people say these simple strategies are truly life-changing. And really, the only way to know for sure is to try it for yourself. So what will your 1% change be? What tiny habit are you going to start today?